Good day. Welcome to our class. Again, I'm Sir Dex, your teacher today in our virtual class. The topic today is about JavaScript. I know some of you already know what is JavaScript. And for those who just heard the JavaScript for the first time, the question is, what is JavaScript? So what is the use of JavaScript and how do we use JavaScript? So JavaScript is used in a million web pages to improve the design, validate forms, detect browser, create cookies, and much more. So JavaScript is one of the most popular scripting language on the internet and works in all major browsers such as Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Firefox, Google Opera, and more. Like what just I read a while ago, JavaScript is a text-based programming language used both on the client side and server side that allows you to make web page interactive. So HTML and your CSS are language, okay, that gives structure and style to web pages. Okay, but JavaScript gives a web page interactive elements that engage a user. So when we say an interactive website, it establishes an interaction between user and the content. So this interaction allow user to have more personalized experience beyond just browsing a website. Okay, for example, you can direct a user to exactly what they're looking for and create more relevant content for the future visitor. And when we said client side, so means that the action takes place on the user. Okay, so the client computer or on the client computer, sorry. So server side means that the action takes place on a web server. So for this reason, most things can be accomplished using JavaScript and can be done without needing a web server. So JavaScript designed to add interactivity to HTML pages. So JavaScript is a scripting language. So take notice, guys, So the primary difference between scripting language and a programming language is their execution. So programming language use compiler to convert the higher level programming language into a machine language. Okay, on the other hand, so yung scripting language natin use an interpreter. So scripting language don't require to be compiled, rather they are interpreted. So means scripting language use interpreter to convert their code into a into a native machine code. So also remember that scripting language runs slower than programming language. Okay, and also they cannot directly access the low-level details of a hardware. So for example, your C programs need a compiler to convert code into a native machine code. But on the other hand, JavaScript doesn't need a compiler. It needs interpreter to convert its code. So that's why JavaScript is called a scripting language. So next, a JavaScript consists of lines of executable computer code. So JavaScript is usually embedded directly into HTML pages. So JavaScript uh, interpret language that's script execute without preliminary execution. And everyone can use JavaScript without purchasing a license. So what can a JavaScript do? First, JavaScript gives HTML designer a programming tools with a simple syntax. Next, JavaScript can put a dynamic text into HTML page. Okay, when we say dynamic text, it is a text on layout that changes based on the current properties of the project or map frame and so on. So JavaScript can react to events. So example, when the page load, it is called an event. Okay, when the user click a button, so that click to is an event. So other example include events like pressing any key, closing window, or resizing window. Okay, and more. So that's an example of a event. So JavaScript can read and write HTML elements. It can also validate data. So it can be used to detect visitor browser. And JavaScript can create cookies. So guys, cookies are created when your browser visits a website that uses cookies to keep track on your movement within the site. So cookies is simple piece of data stored in the user computer by the web browser while browsing the website. So the most basic version of a cookie is a very simple text file on your computer. A cookie file is saved on your PC, your Mac, or your tablet, or your phone. So it stores the website name and also unique ID that represent you as a user. So that way, if you go back to the website again, the website knows you're already been there before. So this means companies can tailor their websites to you because they know some information about you already. So that's the use of cookies. So are Java and JavaScript are the same? So that's the question. So the answer is no. So Java and JavaScript are two completely different language, both in concept and design. So Java is developed by the Sun Microsystem. It is a powerful and much more complex programming language. So in the same category of C and C++. So when Henry H. created JavaScript in 1995, he created it for Netscape Navigator, and it quickly became known as a live script. So in another quirk of JavaScript history, the team changed the name to JavaScript to reflect Netscape support on Java within its browser. So here is sample for our JavaScript embedded into HTML. So the HTML script tag, as you can see here, okay, is used to insert a JavaScript into HTML page. Let's take a example to print out hello world. So we added an optional comment that's around JavaScript code. So this is to save our code from the browser that does not support JavaScript. So the comments ends with this one with double slash with arrow. So double slash signifies a comment in JavaScript. So we add that to prevent a browser from reading the end of the HTML comment as a piece of JavaScript code. Then next we call the function document write. This one, document function write. So this is used to write string into our HTML document. So ending with a statement with semicolon. So optional. Only required when you want to put multiple statements on a single line. So many programmers continue this habit when writing a JavaScript. So but in general, semicolons are optional. So however, semicolons are required if you want to put more than one statement on a single line. So in computer programming, kasi the semicolon is often used to separate multiple statements. For example, in Perl, Pascal, in SQL or SQL natin, so semicolon is statement separator. So in other language naman, semicolons are called terminators and are required after every statement. Okay, but in our JavaScript, it is optional. So JavaScript can be inserted within head, the body, or the external JavaScript file. So you can include JavaScript in the head. So in the head of our HTML page or of our web page, okay? So body or simply use external JavaScript file. So JavaScript in the body section will execute while the page load, and the JavaScript in the head section will be executed when called. So example natin, JavaScript in the head. So next we have the variables. Okay, so it is very important to know how the variable works, not in JavaScript, not in just in JavaScript, but in any programming language. So variables are used to store data. So a variable is a container. Okay, this is a keyword, container, for information you want to store. So a variable value can change during the script. So you can refer a variable by name to see its value or changes its value. So we have rules for variables name. Okay, first, variables names are case sensitive. So they must begin with a letter or underscore. So for example, str name and str name with uppercase are not the same because they are case sensitive. So variable means anything that can vary. So JavaScript includes variable which hold the data value and they can be changed anytime. So JavaScript use reserved word. Okay, reserved word or keyword bar. This one, as you can see, bar. So reserved word. So it used to declare a variable. So a variable must have a unique name. So you can assign a variable or variable name using equal or equal sign operator when you declare a variable. For example here, okay, bar 1 is equals to 1. So variable store a numeric value into our variable 1. So next example, bar 2 equals 2. So variable store string value to our variable 2. And lastly, we have bar 3. So this declare a variable without assigning a value. So this is how we assign or declare a variable. Next, we have the JavaScript operators. So first, we have the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators, so in JavaScript, so arithmetic operators take numerical values, okay, either literals or variables as their operands and return single numerical value. So there are four standard arithmetic operators: the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, and the division. So first we have the addition. For example, x equals 2 and y is equals 2. So if x plus y equals 4, then we have the subtraction. So x equals 5, x equals 2, so x minus y equals 3. Then we have the multiplication, x equals 5, y equals 4, then x multiplied by y equals 20. Then we have the division. We also have the modulus. In modulus, we take the remainder of the division, and we have the increment and increment. So the increment operators, or the double plus sign, increment, so this adds 1 to its operand and returns the value, while the decrement subtracts its operands and return the value. So that's the use of the increment and decrement uh, arithmetic operators in our JavaScript. Next, we have the assignment operator. So an assignment operator assign value to its left operands based on the value its right operands. So the simple assignment operator is equal, okay, which is the value of the right operands to its left operand. So that is x equals to y, assign the value of y to x. So the addition assignment operands adds the value of the right operands of variables and assign the result to the variables. Okay, the types of the two operands determine the behavior, the addition assignment operator. Next, we have the subtraction operand. So subtract the value of the right operands from a variable and assign the result to the variables. Next, we have the multiplication assignment operator. So it multiplies the value of the right operands from the variable, assign the result to the variable. Next, we have the division. So divide the value of the operand from the variable, assign and result to the variables. And lastly, we have the modulus. Assign operator, assign the remainder to the variable. So these are just the basic. So basic assignment operator. Next, we have the comparison. Okay, so the comparison, so use to to perform a comparison. First, we have the example natin. We have the equal to. So is equals to is returns false. For example, 5 is equals to 8. So it will return false. Next, we have is equal to, but this time it will check for both value and type. First, we have x is equal to y, returns true because both value is equal. Okay, but is x is equals to y, returns false because this time it will check the type. So as we can see, x is integer and y is numeric. So it will return false. Next, we have is not equal. So 5 is not equal to 8, returns true. So it's greater than. 5 is greater than 8, so return false. Then we have that it's less than. So 5 is less than 8, so it will return true. And is greater than or equal. So 5 is greater than or equal 8, so returns false. And we have the less than or equal to. Okay, so 5 is less than or equal, 8 returns true. Okay, so that's example of our comparison operator. Next, we have the logical operator. So the concept of the logical operator is simple, okay? So they allow a program to make a decision based on multiple conditions. Each operand is considered a condition, okay, that can be evaluated to true or false. So then the value of the condition is to determine the overall value of the operand 1, operator, and operand 2, or not. So, for example, first, we have the logical operator N. So, with double ampersand sign. So the logical N operators returns true if both operands are true and return false otherwise. So the operand, the logical N operator don't need to have the same type, but they must have the Boolean integral or pointer type. So the operands are commonly relational or equality expression. Then next we have the logical OR. So the logical OR operator or logical disjunction, okay, for a set of operator is true if only if once or more its operand is true. It is typically used with Boolean logical values when it returns a Boolean value. Next, we have the logical NOT. So logical NOT operator takes true to falsity and vice versa. It is typically used with Boolean logical values. So when used with non-Boolean values, it returns false if it's single operands and can be converted to true. So otherwise, it would returns true. Next, we have the basic example of our JavaScript. It will create this output. Okay. So it will create a print out hello world. So we use a function document write, which is write string to our HTML documents. Next, we have the JavaScript pop-up boxes. It is example how to display text using documents write. Okay. So guys, let's continue. So these are the objectives of this next lesson. Okay. So first, what's conditional statement? So how do we use conditional statement? So using conditional statement, if else, if and switch. So next, what is the repetition statement? So why repetition statement useful? And using repetition statement, do while, and for. First is, what is conditional statement? Okay. So conditional statement are statement that checks an expression that may or may not execute a statement or a group statement depending on the result of the condition. Conditional statement is useful while writing a program. There may be a situation you want to need to adapt one or out of given set of paths. So okay, in such cases, you need to use the conditional statements so that allow your program to make the correct decision and perform the right action. So JavaScript support conditional statement which are used to perform different action based on different condition. So we have in JavaScript we have the following condition statement. So the if else, the if else if, and the switch. So this is how the statement works. So this is how the statement works. So the Boolean expression enclosed in a parenthesis in the parameter must evaluate to or true or false. If the Boolean expression evaluates to true, then statement is executed. So if the Boolean expression evaluates to false, then statement is skipped. So in any programming language, First we have the using conditional statement, the if statement. So the if statement specifies the certain statement will be executed only if the expression is true. So the reserved word if, okay, small or lowercase if should be written in a lowercase letter. So uppercase letter if, okay, will generate a JavaScript error. Take note of that, guys. So if any programming language, a reserved word or identifier is cannot be used as an identifier such as the name of variable, function, or label. Okay, it is a reserve and cannot be used for defining any of these. So be careful of this. So example. So we have an example here. So the following example to understand how the if statements work. Here in our JavaScript expression is evaluated. So nakalagay dito, if age is greater than 18, if the resulting value is true, okay, the given statement are executed. So if the expression is false, then no statement will be executed. Most of the times, okay, you will use the comparison operator while making a decision. Okay, so the initial value is the initial value of our variable. So the initial value of our variable age is equal to 20. So then the if statement checks if the variable age is greater than 18. So if it's greater than 18, okay, and the value of our variable is 20, it will execute the statement qualified for driving. So for age values less than 18, so the condition will return false or it will fail. And the code associated with the statement will not be executed. So that's how our if statement works. Next, we have the if-else statement. So the if-else statements indicates different action to be performed. So when the condition is true or false. So the Boolean expression is enclosed again with the parentheses must be evaluated to true or false. Then the reserved word if-else should be written in a lowercase. So if uppercase letter if also and uppercase else, it also will generate a JavaScript error. The syntax for our if-else statement. So the if-else statement execute the block code of a specified condition is true. If the condition is false, another block of code can be executed. So the if-else statement is a part of JavaScript conditional statement which are used to perform different action based on different condition. Another sample. So this is how if-else works. So when a JavaScript expression is evaluated, so the resulting value is true, so the given statement in the block, okay, are executed. So if the expression is false, then a given statement in the else block will be executed. So here in our expression, so JavaScript expression is again evaluated, resulting value is true, the given statement in the if block are executed, which is document right, qualified for driving. Okay, again, so the initial value of our variable age is 15. Bar age is equal to 15. So the initial value is 15 and the expression is if age is greater than 18. So the resulting value is false. Because of that, the given statement in the else block are executed, which is document right does not qualify for driving, and it will display a text on the screen. This is how if-else statements works. Next, we have the if-else if statement. So the if-else if statement. Okay, so the if-else statement is used if there are 3 or more possible conditions and the outcomes to be executed. So the Boolean expression enclosed in parentheses and must be evaluated true or false. This is how if-else if statement works. So the if-else statement is also called the ladderized if-else if. The if-else if statement are also known as the ladderized if-else if. Okay, so the evaluation of Boolean expression is like a ladder. The computer will evaluate the first condition, and if the result is false, it can now evaluate the next condition up to the last condition. So statements are executed based on the true condition. Okay, if none of the condition is true, then the else blocks is executed. Next. Okay, so these are example. So the if-else if statement is an advanced form of else if. It will allow the JavaScript to make a correct decision out of several conditions. An if statement can be followed by any number of optional else if statement, which is very useful to test various conditions using single else if statement. Okay, so remember guys, when using else if statement, there are few points to keep in mind. So an if can have a zero or one else, and it must come after any else if. An if can have zero to many else if, and they must have come before the else. Okay, once an else if succeed, none of the remaining else if or else if will be tested. So just like in our example, okay. So again, the initial value of our variable book. So we have a variable which is book, is equal to math. So then JavaScript expression is evaluated. So if book is equal history, so the resulting value is false, right? So the given statement in the if block are not executed. And it will go next to else if statement. Again, the expression evaluated else if. So book is equal to math. So this time, so the resulting value is true. And the given statement else if blocks are executed. So once an else if succeed, so the remaining else if or else will not be tested. So that's how an else if works. Next we have the switch statement. So the switch statement, the switch statement allows you to take a single variable value and execute a different block of code based on the value of the variable. Okay? So you can use multiple if-else-if statement to perform a multi-way branch. So however, this is not always the best solution, especially when all of the branches depend on a value of a single variable. Okay, so you can use a switch statement which handle exactly this situation and this not so more efficiently than repeated if-else-if statement. Okay, the objective, so this is another example or an example of our switch statement. Okay, so the objective of a switch statement is to give expression to evaluate a several different statement to execute based on the value of the expression. For example, here, the variable initial value is grade is equal to A. Then the interpreter check each case against the value of the expression until a match is found. So take note guys, the value for each case must be constant character or constant number. Then switch expression is evaluated once. So switch grade case A. So the value of expression compare with the value of each case. So if there's a match, the shaded block of codes is executed. If not, it will goes to the next expression and will evaluate. Okay? So if nothing matches, a default condition will be used. So this is our default condition at the end of our switch case. So a default statement is executed if no case constant expression value is equal to the value of expression. So if there's no default statement and no case match is found, none of the statement in the switch body get executed. So instead, it will execute document write, okay, existing switch. So but in our example, the value of our variable found its match in the first case and the shaded block our code is executed. So as you can see, case A, okay, is equal to the value of our variable grade. So document write, good job will be displayed in our screen. Okay, so this is how switch statement works. In our switch statement, as we can see, we also use the break here. So the break statement. Okay, so the break statement indicate the ends of a particular case. If they were omitted, the interpreter would continue executing each statement. Okay, each statement of the following cases. So when a JavaScript code interpreter reach a break keyword, it breaks out a switch block. So this will stop the execution of more code. In case of testing inside the block, the default keyword specify the code that run if there's no match case. Okay, so that's the function or the use of the break statement here. So let's go back to our question. When should we use the if else, if, and switch statement? So the answer is, okay, if you want to perform an action, okay, so based on the value of a single variable, then use a switch statement. It is much faster and easier to read. If you want to perform a different action based on different condition or range value, you can use the multiple if-else-if statement. So next we have the repetition statement. So repetition statement allows us to execute multiple times. Often they are referred as a loop. Like conditional statement, they are controlled by Boolean expression. So guys, there are other type of important programming control structure. So it is the repetition statement. So repetition statement is used to repeat a group of of programming instruction. Most programmers have a harder time using repetition statement. So repetition statement, so make up the biggest time slice on the total running time of our program. So on average, repetition statement or loops will take up 95 to 99% of the total running time of any given program. Because of this fact, it's necessary not only to write working loops, but write efficient loop, especially with interpreted language as JavaScript. Okay, because interpretation tend to run slower than the identical native compiled program. So that's the advantage of the repetition statement. So in JavaScript, we have three kinds of repetition statement. So first we have the while loop, the do while loop, and the for loop. So this loop, okay, so this loop provides a quick and easy method of doing something repeatedly. Okay, they are used to repeat an action a number of times without having to repeat the same line of code. Okay, so that's the advantage of using repetition statement or loop statement. So for example, your teacher asks you to display a drop-down menu that display 1 to 5 in the option list. Example, you're making a drop-down list. So to do it, you might have to write something just like this. So select name equals the option equals 1. Okay, to create a option list. So to speed up the process of adding the option value in the drop-down menu, okay, you may copy and paste so the repeated tags and then change the option value accordingly. However, it would still be a bit tedious, especially if you decide to display 1 to 100 in the option list. So you need to copy paste it almost 100 times just to make an option list, right? So what if it is 1 to 1,000? So you need to copy, paste it 1,000 times. Okay, and edit it. However, okay, you could write the repeated tag once and let your repetition structure execute it as many times as you want using our loop. So it makes your work easier and your code efficient and shorter. So it provide code reusability. Okay, so using loop, we don't need to write the same code again and again. Again, we have the three different kinds of loop in JavaScript: the for, the while, and the do while. So loops, each kind of loops consists of the following. First, we have the initialization, the condition, and condition statement, and the changing value or the iteration. So first, we have the initialization. Initialization is an expression that initializes the start of the loop. Okay, variables that you declare in this part of the loop are local to the loop itself. They are terminated after the loop is finished executing. So the initialization expression, so initialize the loop. So the expression is executed only once when the loop starts. The initialization may have one of the following form. First, assignment to a previous declared variable. For example, I is equals to 0. And declaration initialization of variable. For example, integer I equals to 0. Okay, so that's how our initialization works. Next, we have the condition statement. Okay, the condition is the test of that occurs after each pass of the loop. So the test must be a Boolean expression or function that returns a Boolean value. Okay, if the test is true and the loop execute once, the test false and the loop stops executing. Okay, so condition. So is a test that occurs after pass of the loop. So the condition statement are used to make decision. So that's its main function. In real life, we make all sort of decision based on criteria such as I am being offered enough money to take this job. So if the answer is yes, then the result, take the job. If the answer is no, then don't take the job. So in JavaScript, you need to make decision about this section of codes to evaluate. For example, if you ask a user uh, for inputs, you could perform a calculation. You will want to carry out a calculation. The input is numeric. But so the purpose of using condition inside the loop statement is also called conditional loop. It's make the It's to make the stop. It makes to make the loop stop counting. Sorry. So the control statement is a combination of some conditional that direct the body of the loop to execute until specified condition becomes false. So control statements are designed to allow you to create script that can decide which line of codes are evaluated or how many times to evaluate them. So the control condition must be well defined and specified, otherwise the loop will execute an infinite number of times. So the loop that does not stop executing and processes the statement's number of times is called as infinite loop. The condition statement is always surrounded by parentheses. So but the statement is governed can be the same line or the following line. So the interpreter always has shaped the if statement with whatever statements follow. Next we have the so why loops are useful. So loops are useful because they allow you to repeat lines of code without retyping them or using cut and paste in your text editor. So that's the use of our loops. We have the changing value or the iteration statement. Okay, it is any expression that changes the value of the variables being tested in a condition. So commonly, the increment and decrement arithmetic operation is used to change the value of the loop index to bring the state of the loop closer to returning false. So this is also used to avoid an infinite loop. So statement is an instruction to be performed several times in the loop. So the iteration statement, so where you can increase or decrease your counter. So iteration statement create loops in the program. In other words, it repeats the sets of statement until the condition for termination is met. So that's the function of our iteration statement or the changing value. First, now we have the for loop. So the for loop repeats a statement of blocks of statement certain number of times while a specified condition is true. This is how it works. Okay, so the initialization is executed before the loop. So before the loop start. Okay, next the condition is validated if the truth if true the statement is executed. Okay, next after executing the statement, so perform the changing value or the iteration, then it will repeat step 2 and 3. So if the condition is still true, the statement is executed again and will repeat this step until the condition becomes false. And if the condition returns false, the loop stop and proceed to the succeeding statement outside the for loop. This is the syntax for writing a for loop. So it will produce this output. So the for loop is the most compact form of looping. Okay, it includes the following three steps. The loop initialization, okay, where we initialize our counter to starting value or var variable. The initialization statement is executed before the loops begin. So the initial value for our variable count here is, as we can see, is var count. So there is no value. So then the condition statement will test if a given condition is true or not. If the condition is true, then the code given inside the loop will be executed. Otherwise, the control will come out of the loop. So our variable, so our condition is variable count is less than 10, which have a which have a resulting value of true. So because the initial value of our variables is less than 10, and it will execute the statement document right to display the variable value. Next is the iteration statement. Okay, next the iteration statement where you can increase or decrease your counter. So in this, the iteration will increase the value of our variable count by 1 in each iteration. So if the condition is still true, the statement is executed again. And repeat this step until the condition becomes false. If the value of our variable count reach 10, so the conditional statement will have a resulting value of false. So it will proceed to the succeeding statement outside the loop. So that's how our for loop works. So next we have the while loop. Okay, the while loop, just look at the short comparison and repeat until the comparison is no longer true. So this is the most basic loop in JavaScript, okay, the while loop. So the purpose of the loop is to execute a statement or code, so code of block repeatedly, as long as the expression is true. Okay, so once expression becomes false, the loop terminates. So the while loops evaluate the test expression inside the parentheses. The test expression true statements in the body of while loops are executed, then the test expression evaluated again. So the process goes until the test expression evaluated false. So if the expression is false, the loop terminates or it will end. So, so these are example. So here we initialize the variable count to value of 0. Count is equal 0. When count is 0, the conditional statement count is less than 10 is true. Okay, hence the body of the while loop is executed. So this prints 0 on the screen and the value of count is increased by 1. Now, the count is 1. The conditional expression count is less than 10. Again, the body of the while loop is executed again. So this prints 1 on the screen and the value of counts is increased to 2. So this process goes until the value of variable counts become 10. So when the count is 10, the test expression count is less than 10. So it will return a resulting value of false and the loops terminate. And it will proceed to the succeeding statement outside the while loop. So that's how while loops works. And last, we have the do while loop. So the do while loop, sometimes it makes more sense to evaluate the test condition at the end of the loop instead of the beginning. Okay, so this is the syntax for writing a do while loop statement, sorry. So the initialization is executed before the loop starts, then the statement within the loop is performed at least once, even if the condition used would return false the first time. Okay, it will perform the statements once. After the executing the statement, it will perform the changing value or the iteration. Then it will evaluate the condition again. So then it will repeat the step of 2 and 4 until the condition become false. If the condition returns false, the loop stop and proceed to the succeeding statement outside the do while loop. Okay, so these are example of our do while loop. So the do while loop is similar to the while loop, except the condition check happen at the end of the loop. So this means the loop will always be executed at least once, even if the condition is false. Okay, so the body of do while loop is executed once, only then the test expression is evaluated. So if the expression is true, the body of the loop is executed again and the test expression is evaluated. So this process goes until the test expression becomes false. And if the test expression becomes false, the loops will end. So here in our example, so we have initial value of count is equal to 0. So the body of the do while loop is executed. So this prints 0 on the screen and the value of counts is increased by 1. So now the condition statement is evaluated. Count is less than 5. So it will return true. So then the body of the do while loop is executed again. So this process goes until the value of variable counts become 5. So when count is 5, the test expressions counts less than 5. So it will be false and the loop ends. So that's how while loop works. So I have a question again. Omang, you can explain why this loop will result an infinite loop.
Yung count po kasi nag-decrement po eh. So, yung 1 magiging 0, -1, -2. Kaya, yung condition po kasi is less than or equal to 25. Kaya, magko-continue po na magiging true yung condition. Kaya
Okay.
magiging infinite loop po.
Okay, good. Very good. So, tama yung sagot niya. So, this loop will continue to execute, okay, until um, interrupted or until underflow errors. Okay, so because the expression here will always have a resulting value of true. So sabi nga, instead of using incrementation, okay, we use decrementation. So the value of our variable will be always less than 25. Okay, so good. Okay, now guys, we know what's JavaScript and what JavaScript can do. So while JavaScript is not the only client-side scripting language on the internet, it was only it was one of the first and it's still the most widely used. So many developers believe that JavaScript is inefficient. So they have made many improvements to the language over the years. So enterprise programmer have created JavaScript libraries. So it's more concise language constructed from the building blocks of the JavaScript that are less complex. Thank you. Okay, thank you for listening. And if you have questions, so you can send me a message here or in our LMS. Okay. So see you in our next virtual class. Okay, so guys, thank you again.